My name is Dirk Niepoort. I'm here with João Nicolau de Almeida from Ramos Pinto. What is your current situation, role at Ramos Pinto?
Well, I'm the CEO of Ramos Pinto and also responsible for all the wines that we make.
You are a rare CEO that is actually a winemaker, a technician.
Well,
So it's not a financial guy, a bookkeeper running the company.
That was fun because when they rather asked me to run the house, I said, me? I said, I learned how to make wines, now how to run a house. Well, in fact, I have a great influence from my uncle, José António Ramos Pinto, and also from my father, more for the wines, and my uncle more for the vineyards. He was a viticulture man. He was someone that at that time was very worried about the viticulture of Douro.
We are talking in the 80s?
70s.
70s.
70s. 75, 76. I'm telling this when I arrived, when I came from Bordeaux, and I came to see him, and here at Vila Nova de Gaia, and they said, no, we should discuss this in Douro. And I didn't know what he was preparing to me. When he showed me every morning, there was nothing. There was cereal. The reasons he chose Douro Superior, because he was saying that during these two world wars, the viticulture of Douro has been abandoned. So everything was mixed. Nobody knew about viticulture, rootstock. There was not evolution. Right. And he wanted to make something from the beginning with a virgin soil.
But I always saw it a little bit like they were dreamers. They were dreaming about changing something. They had ideas, or they were frustrated with the status quo then. Mm-hmm. But you were actually the driving force to do it. You took.
I came from the sky. I just
exactly. But you then did what they were sort of.
Yes, they were.
They didn't know exactly what they wanted, but they wanted to change something.
Yes,
and then you did the change.
Yes, as I told you, I had this opportunity to study in Bordeaux, and I learned how to make microvinifications. And at that time, they were working in 80 different varieties. And I went there to taste that, and I thought, well, this is impossible. It was difficult to taste because they have no possibilities, technical possibilities to make a proper wine. So all the wines, the aromas, they were not special for the variety, but was from the cask or from the burbs. There was very complicated. So we have to start at the beginning, but I told them we cannot study 80 varieties.
So you selected 5?
No, I asked them 12. Give me what you think they are the best 12. And I make 3 different experimental fields in 3 subregions. And in 81, we have already the results. Douro Superior, of course, there is different altitudes. And it was a challenge with Jean-Claude Rousseau. I asked him to make a white wine. And they said, white wine in Douro, you're crazy, you forget it. And they said, well, shall I try? And I tried, and I think, and then he told me he lost. And the thing is, to make a Douro wine, and not trying to make Alsace wine or any North wine, trying to put acidity or something. We choose the acidity in the vineyards, especially in the Rabigato and the Rinto. We use the port culture, I mean blending. the demography of the Douro is a blend. It's something that's always changing.
But the vinification is done by variety, and then you blend.
No, we are trying making different experiments. Of course, we start to separate to know which was which. Now we start blending what we know already we can blend. So there is a evolution process. In Douro we have two terroirs. We have the terroir. We could think about a special local place, equal, where all the vineyards are equal. As you know, Douro is always changing. You cannot go very far, otherwise it will change. That's one type of terroir that is precisely from that place and doesn't change the exposition, altitude, and so on. And another terroir is when you're talking about much bigger quantities. When you're talking about you even at the same quinta, at the Bom Retiro, the wine down there at 100 meters is totally different from 400 meters.
How would you describe the difference between the terroir of Erva Moira and Bom Retiro?
Yes, they are really different. There is a big difference. Of course, they have something in common in general, but the schist, of course, but the climates are different. And what I should say is Erva Moira gives wines with a very good maturity, very clean in terms of fruit. There is very few diseases because the climate is not so humid, and has a very intense color, intense aroma, and full body and long finish.
Also different fruit in the wines?
The difference, there is different fruits, but they don't show the first years. The wines from Erva Moira, they age really well in terms of color, in terms of flavor, in terms of fruit. And comparing to the Simacor with the Bom Retiro show much quicker all this diversity of aromas, and of course they are more elegant, more fine, with a bit more acidity, and of course they have structure, but not as every year. In Erva Moira, every year we have a full body wine.
It's much more consistent.
More consistent, exactly.
Yeah. How would you separate the vineyards for port and for wine? Is it more a question of vintage, or is it very clear in your head that that vineyard is for port and that is for wine?
Well, I would like very, very much to have clear ideas, and we are working very hard on that because that's why we decided to make our own vineyards to explore that situation. And is difficult, very difficult, and when we think this is for vintage, for port, there is some climate phenomenon that will change for. So there is not a radical rule that all this, and I think we shouldn't have this. This is for port. No way. Every year. I don't say that. But I say every year, look more and more what should be, and we have a program and select vineyards for red wine and port wine.
Is there one of the differences? Is it the picking that makes a difference for port, or not really?
Of course, the picking is very important. Suppose that the maturation is okay, but I don't have time to pick at that time because I don't have people and pass a little bit, of course. That will be better for port than for red wine. So the picking, as you said, is really important, but that is on the field, right? That we have to decide in the moment, and there I'm always there to taste with my team. Probably you do the same,
Yep.
because it's one of the most important things is picking the right
Yep,
moment. The idea of making wine for us is, as I told you, put the grapes on the bottle.
Oh.
And for the vinifications, for instance, for the red wine and white wine, we do the minimum. For the port wine, for the vintage, we do the maximum.
Do you think the wine, as some colleagues say, is very bad for the area? We should concentrate on port, or you feel confident that you are doing the right thing and that wine is maybe a positive thing for the Douro?
I would like also to know your opinion, but I think we should not forget first that port was born as a dry wine. And then there was in 1820 this great year that it was a natural port wine, and then everybody, it was a success.
It evolved in another direction.
Everybody stopping the fermentation. But for many reasons, and the first one is, we have the beneficio, which gives your quantity of port that you can make. And for instance, you can make, they say this year, you can make only half of your vineyard for port. And the other half, the same quality grapes, you just distill for minimum price. How can you rentabilize a quinta like that?
That's
It's impossible. And then why not make excellent wines? We can make both. And it's proved that we can make both. Douro is that. Douro is so complex that it's like a man, you always finding something. That's what I told you, we keep you there, breaking the rock.